let's just start at the beginning. So when were you born?
I was born 1988.
Right.
Yeah, I've got two brothers, same age, we're triplets.
So what are your parents' names?
So my dad is Raymond Trotter.
Right.
My mum's maternal name is Jacqueline Pawley. Mum and dad got married in 1979. Yeah.
So do you know her parents' names?
Yeah, so my granddad is James Francis Pawley.
Right.
He died 2 years ago.
So on the 2nd of August 1958, James Francis Pawley, 25, married Sheila Brenda Thompson, 20. They were both single and they got married at St Barnabas on Linthorpe Road. Grandad James is a lorry driver and he's living in Meadowfield Avenue in Groveville.
Grandad was born, I believe, 26th of April. I think it was at March or April of 1933. Great granddad was Sam. That's all. Sam Pawley. That's all I know. Granddad. I remember my great grandma.
Is
Granddad's mum?
Is this Grandad's mum? Yeah.
This is Granddad's mum. Her name is Josephine.
Right.
And her maiden name was Skelly.
So on the 5th of September 1932, Sam Pawley, 28, married Josephine Skelly, 26. Sam's a bachelor and Josephine's a spinster, and they got married at St Paul's Church on Newport Road. So Sam Pawley and Josephine Skelly had 3 children. Michael's grandfather James Francis, Beatrice and Sandra.
Hello.
Hello, is that Beatrice?
It is.
Your parents were Sam and Josephine?
No. Oh, yes, sorry. Yes, that's right. It was me and our Jimmy after that.
Yeah.
James Francis Pawley. And now was just Beatrice Pawley. And then 16 years later, after our dad came out of the army, we had another one, Sandra.
Right, so there's the 3 of you?
Yes, so I'm like 16 years older than our Sandra. From what I've been told, might have done something around Dunkirk. I'm not sure.
Is this Sam, yeah?
This is Sam, and I'm certain he was in India as well.
The Afridi Red Shirt Rebellion was a military campaign conducted by the British and Indian armies against Afridi tribesmen in the northwest frontier region in the Indian Empire of 1930 to 1931. The Afridis often clashed with the British and Indian armies during the Indians' expansion towards the Afghan border, notably the Anglo-Afghan Wars. On the 17th of October 1930, the British-led force crossed into the Tira Valley at Bara, 6 miles from Peshawar, and advanced a further 7 miles to Miri Kel. Here, a fortified camp was constructed. On the 16th of January 1931, the force was withdrawn, having accomplished its objective.
He was in India for a while, I think.
It was quite a while he was out in India, yeah.
Yeah,
And then once the Second World War started, they were all called back over to England.
When the objective was complete, all soldiers returned home, and on Ancestry there's the medal roll of individuals entitled to the Indian General Service Medal. And if we look down the list, you can see S. Pawley, Private S. Pawley. This is Sam, so he was in receipt of the medal from George V. This is when he was in India.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks old, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, that was our dad's box as well with his stuff in.
Oh, yeah.
There's his spares when he was out in
India.
India.
Ah, right. Oh, cool.
And these are 2 medals he got while he was out in India. RAOB.
Oh, yeah, the buffs, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure. According to Glenn last night, that could be when he was in the army on his uniform.
Mm-hmm.
He came home wounded.
Yeah.
We were just children at the time. I can't remember how we were. But he came home wounded and he was in Hemlington Hospital for quite a while.
Right.
So what was wrong with him, I don't know. But by the time the war ended, he came out fine. He was all right.
Did he live in Grove Hill?
Yes. Meadowfield Avenue. He used to work on the furnaces in the works.
Yeah.
And he took retirement at 65 in the August. And he died at Christmas. He sort of got from influenza to pneumonia and things like that, and he died at the Christmas. He was cremated on Boxing Day.
So going back into Sam's side of the family, he was baptised on August the 14th and he was born August the 9th of 1904. The child's name is Sam and the parents' names are Bill and Isabel Pawley. Bill's a labourer and they're living at 35 Salisbury Street. Now Salisbury Street was over the Cannon Street area and it ran from Newport Road to Cannon Street.
You know, on that side of the family, there was a Tommy. Then there was Uncle Buck, but he was called William Henry.
Right, but he was known as Buck.
He was known as Uncle Buck, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then the other one was Auntie Margaret. She all ran away from home, by the way.
Right.
Auntie Margaret went into service down London, and she met her husband, and it was called Arthur Lawman.
Right.
His other sister was called, well, to be honest, I didn't really know her name, because I only know her as Auntie Bet. I was living with her just after the war, and I always called her Auntie Bet. And they lived in Rotherham. So there was a one that lived in Halifax. That was what they call it, Adelaide.
That's my Uncle Bill.
Yeah.
And his wife Olive.
Right, yes.
And the little one in the middle is a young Bill. Well, he's in his 70s now, him.
Yeah.
So I usually have him on my tablet.
Well, apparently a baby died when it was about 2 years old.
Right. So in total, Bill Pawley and Isabel Fletcher had Thomas, known as Tommy, Bill, who died as a baby, Michael Sam, William, known as Buck, Beatrice, who died when she was 4, and this is who Beatrice is named after, Margaret, Rebecca, Adelaide, John, who died as a baby, and another Bill. Did you get to meet Sam's parents, your grandparents?
We did.
Yeah.
That's Grandad and Grandma Pawley. She's got a dress on there, but that must be her younger days.
So,
And Grandad Pawley's there.
yeah.
Granddad Paulie or his first before.
Oh, but I don't dare
our
touch
dad,
it.
yeah, our dad, it still works.
Does it?
Still, I couldn't believe it when I wound it
Oh
up.
my god, I can't believe.
Oh, there it is. Dad, when Granddad Paulie died, he must have got it.
Right. Yeah.
I wound it up. Oops.
Oh yeah, just a slightly quiet tick, yeah.
Yeah.
But to be honest, we didn't like them. Just the feeling you got, they were always dressed in black. Yes, I know, and they had this black dog that was as mad as a March hare. I used to be terrified of it. But to be honest, we were frightened of them.
We often had out to go over with the granddad and grandma Pearly Ponies, but we didn't like it. They had a big attic,
Yeah.
and our Jimmy had to sleep up in the attic, and we sort of middle way.
Right.
And he used to always have bottles and things in his yarmers. And he
Jimmy,
fell down the stairs from the top to the bottom
with the
with the
bottle.
bottle in his pocket.
Oh god.
6 or 7 year old.
Ah. So it was just miserable there.
It was.
Yeah.
We couldn't get out fast enough. To stick him up in the attic on his own was cruel.
Who's the bloke on the
I
left?
don't know who that is. So whether it's his brother, they look alike if you see them.
Oh yeah, the same sort of nose.
Yeah, they do look alike, so it could be his brother.
So going back to the beginning of Bill's side of the family, he was born in Chesterfield, which was just south of Sheffield. And his mother's maiden name was Daft. So to find a Daft to a Paulie marriage was on July the 20th, 1873. Walter Paulie, 22, married Rebecca Daft, 19. So Rebecca, this is who Sam's sister was called, and she was named after her. Walter was a puddler living at Rolling Mill Street, which is still there today over the canal in the Midlands. Walter and Rebecca both signed their marriage certificate with an X, which means they couldn't write. And by 1887, their daughter Beatrice was born and baptised in Middlesbrough, and she was their first child to be born here. And at the time, they were living at 5 Benjamin Street, which is just off Cannon Street. They had the Prince of Wales Theatre and pub at the end of their street, which means that Walter must have drank in there after work. It's 1891 from the street behind you at number 5.
Is it Walter?
Yeah.
Paulie,
Yeah.
head.
He's 39. Is it? He's either a defrauder or a labourer.
Something labourer,
Ironworks.
or ironworks labourer.
Rebecca Paulie, wife, she does nothing. Typical.
No fucking job. But she was born in Leicester.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
William Paulie is the son, he's 16, he's also a labourer.
Arthur Paulie, son, single, he also is a labourer.
Samuel Paulie, son, 13, again, labourer, there's a bit of a theme going on here.
Walter Paulie Jr. is 11. and he does school. Or scholar, whatever.
Ethel Pawley.
God, how many is there?
Daughter is from a wife.
Didn't have a telly.
8 does nothing.
And Beatrice Pawley is 4. She does nothing.
And lastly, Pollyann Pawley. That's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it?
I think she was called Paulina, so Polly's like a nickname.
Yeah, 2.
So in total, Walter Pawley and Rebecca Daft had Michael's connection Bill, Arthur, Samuel, Walter Jr., Ethel, Beatrice, Paulina known as Polly, and later they had Albert and Violet. They had moved from Benjamin Street to 242 Cannon Street, and on the 21st of May 1895, at 242 Cannon Street, Arthur Pawley passed away. He was 18 years old, and the cause of death was influenza for 5 days and pneumonia for 4 days. Rebecca Pawley, his mother, was present at the death. So our Bill lost his brother when he was a teenager.
Yesterday, a man named Thomas Longstaff of 10 Nelson Street, Middlesbrough, engaged a horse and trap belonging to Mr. Bennett.
To take a drive out into the country. The party included Rebecca Pawley, 42, of 242 Cannon Street, Middlesbrough, and her husband Walter Pawley. They left Ayton to come home at 9 p.m. The deceased took her seat with their friend on the front next to the driver.
When coming down Dixon's Bank, the horse commenced to kick, got on one side of the rein under his tail, and pulled itself into the hedge, upsetting the trap. Rebecca Pawley fell off the front onto the ground.
And the horse fell on top of her. That poor woman.
She was taken from under the trap, but never spoke. Dr. Townsend of Eston was called to the place and after an examination pronounced the woman to be dead.
Yeah, the horse killed her, I think.
God. What does it mean by trap? Like there's a...
The bit you sit on in the back of the horse.
Oh, right. I'm picturing a trap on the horses killed her.
Yeah.
Can you imagine bear trap, lands in it, trapped, horse?
I've been married!
Yeah, the next year as well. So
Must have a kids. Remarried Catherine Brophy.
Yeah.
Brophy.
Right, next one.
Walter Pawley of 242 Cannon Street, Middlesbrough, labourer, hereby give notice that I will not be responsible for any debts contracted by my wife, Kate Pawley, after this date, dated the 27th of May, 1899.
So she's getting him into a bit of a bother.
Very regretted marrying her then.
He has to declare it in the paper that he's not responsible for her death.
He's not going to fight over money.
Walter Pawley of Cannon Street was charged with having committed an aggravated assault on his wife.
Stop fucking spending!
On Monday, Mr. F.S. Thomas prosecuted and stated that they have been married since Christmas, but they have never agreed. He had a large family and she had several children, and there were constantly difficulties about the children.
On Monday he came home late and asked what she had chastised his children for. She denied having touched them, and the defendant thereupon took a stick and beat her as she lay in bed. The defendant stated that his wife was the most drunken woman in Middlesbrough.
This woman, Catherine Pawley, married of Cannon Street, was set to go out for 2 months for having stolen a gold chain valued 39 shillings belonging to her stepson, Walter Pawley. So she's now stole her husband's son's gold chain.
He stole off a stepson.
So off his son, yeah.
So she's now in the wrong. Walter Pawley was summoned by his wife.
Who alleged that he had neglected to maintain her
and her children. Mr. Forbes from the applicant stated that the parties had been married 8 years and during that time had been separated twice. Defendant put his wife out into the street and refused to keep her. Get out.
She had to go into the workhouse, and she now applied for a maintenance order against her husband. Check out the deed.
So he still had to pay for her.
Why? So she could get her
Because she's legally married to him.
Doesn't matter. But they're not our possessions.
robbed her husband, Jesus Christ.
A singular case of a woman robbing her husband of his gold watch valued at £7, 10 shillings. Now that is a fortune.
So it's more than the chain was.
And 2 silk pocket handkerchiefs. 2 silk pocket handkerchiefs.
I know.
The prisoner Catherine Pawley of Parliament Street pawned the articles under a false name and then went on the spree with the money. She returned home drunk and was given into custody.
Drunk, which we knew was going to happen.
Jesus Christ. Helping herself, is she?
So who's in the wrong, really?
She is. And a beat her with a stick as well.
The defence was that a married woman not separated from her husband could not be charged with robbing him, and the case was dismissed. For pledging the goods under a false name, she was fined £10 or 2 months imprisonment.
So the drunkenest woman in Middlesbrough passed away in 1933, and Walter himself died just prior to that in 1929. So Sam was a young man, probably getting ready to go to India when his father died. So Walter never met Sam's children or Sam's wife, Josephine.
I can't remember if she hit her 96th birthday or not, but she was close to 96.
Yeah, that's another good age, isn't it?
Yeah, you wouldn't have known
That she was that age.
that she was that age. She was still living like she was in her 60s.
Right, cool,
Always going out, always going to club, bingo, whatever. She was always out, she was never in.
Yeah. Nixon Street?
Yeah.
Is that right?
22 Nixon Street.
22
yeah.
Nixon Street, yeah.
As I used to get bummed out, we lived near the railway station, you see.
Right.
And we lived there, and it was being near the railway, got windows smashed a few times.
And then they dropped a bomb on the school. Not too badly, it wasn't.
Which school was it?
That was Marsh Road School.
Oh, yeah, did it land on it, yeah.
Yeah, and so we had no school, but we still had to go. They had people's houses,
Yeah.
and so many in each people's houses. It was only 2 up and 2 down.
2 bedrooms.
Yeah, 2 up, yeah.
Yeah. Toilet out the back and...
In the yard, yeah.
Yeah.
And a coal house in the yard.
Yeah.
But at least we had the water on tap.
All right.
Yeah, cold water. And we
So-
used to have a big tin bath.
What you call it? Was it loud living near the railway? 'Cause you were...
No, you got used to the sound of the trains going by. We used to wave, stand in the middle of the road, all the kids waving.
My mother, Josephine, she had a girl before she met my father,
Right.
but they still got married. But he made sure that she had the Paulie's name because he didn't like the idea of having 2 children called Paulie and one called whatever it was, she was called Skelly. So that's how she came to be one as well, but she was a bit older than us.
All right, so she this is Josephine's daughter.
Yeah, she was called Mary Cecilia.
So would you say Josie was hard work?
Yeah.
Best way to put it.
You see, what it was, they passed the invitations on to my mother,
Yeah.
and she never passed them on to me.
Well, did you not get along with your mother?
Well, I don't know. I had days off from work, and it was a nice day. She did get the train and take us to Redcar. I went over 4 times a day.
Yeah.
Got in, stood, then she's standing there, and her head was just sort of in line with the table, because she never went out of the kitchen, our mum. She stayed in the kitchen with the oven on all the time.
Why?
Well, that was the way she brought up, wasn't it? She had lovely central heating, and she never used it.
But left the oven on
Yeah.
to keep warm?
Yeah.
So on the 19th of June 1906 at 15 Stanfield Street, Josephine was born. She's a girl. Her father's James Francis Skelly. And so Stanfield Street was just here, where that railing is, into that warehouse. So We're right near the Denmark Street Bridge and the railway. This is where it started for Josephine. This is where she was born.
That's Grandad Skelly.
With his hat on.
He always wore his three-piece suit.
Yeah, they did in those days, didn't they?
Well, he was American, you see.
Apparently they were Irish.
Right.
And they moved out to America.
Right.
And apparently they ended up in Jamestown in Rhode Island.
Ah, okay.
Which I thought that he might have beneath himself because they wanted him to be an officer in the Navy.
Right.
He come over in the ship and never went back.
And Thorpe Street, that's where my granddad lived.
Yeah,
it was like
Thorpe.
a field in the middle.
The field and Thorpe on
And
the
he
other
was
side,
like the
yeah.
first house on Thorpe Street.
Yeah.
And they said he had the cleanest front.
Step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was always out cleaning his front and his windows.
Yeah.
My granddad Skelly died. He died 2 weeks before the war ended. I don't know what the world had done without him, to be honest. He was the most loving grandfather I've ever known.
How many children did he have?
Dora.
Auntie Dora, you
I
went
think
to
she's
visit Auntie Dora. Two sons. You always give me a wave as I went past.
Ada.
Yeah.
Auntie Ada's family weren't very, you'd go in, they wouldn't say hello or anything.
Right.
They wouldn't, they wouldn't talk to you or anything.
Was she okay though, or was she?
No. She swore like a trooper. She did, and her husband was a docker.
Yeah.
So whether it came off him or not.
Oh, Jack.
Yeah.
That was his Uncle Jack, but probably that was just a nickname, but that's how we all knew him as Uncle Jack.
Jack Skelly, yeah.
He was the oldest, because he lived with my granddad, Ada, with her family. Edward, and David George, but he didn't like to be called David George, so he took the name of George.
Right.
He was in the army. There was James, he was a James Francis, the younger one.
And that's him with his wife when they lived in Liverpool.
To Sis, I will be writing soon to give one to Dad. Give my love to Sadie, Jim and Beatty. Good night. Huh? When did he pass away?
Oh, I don't know. He moved to Australia. Grandma Skelly.
So you met him, but you never met her?
No, apparently she died when I was 9 months old.
So you don't know her name then?
No.
The 27th of January 1935, 17 Redcar Street. We have Hannah Mary Skelly,
Yeah.
right, female, 58 years old, wife of James Francis Skelly,
Loba.
pneumonia.
Well, she's just on the lungs.
A. Peacock, daughter, also she was there at the death, right, was
Yeah.
present at death.
And,
at the
and
death.
her address is next door.
Oh wow.
On the 21st of March 1897, James Francis Skelly, 25, married Hannah Mary Rees, 20. They were both single and they got married at St. Peter's Church over the border here in the centre in Middlesbrough. James is a mariner, as we know, and they are both living at 69 Lower East Street. And here's a photo of that block of houses in the 1950s, which has been recently made to new builds on the right here, right near Middlesbrough College. Hannah's father was John Rees, who was deceased at the time of the wedding, and he was a roller.
A roller? Rolling mills were used to flatten and shape iron and steel to make bars, angles and plates. The iron rollers fed iron between rotating rolls with increasingly narrow gaps to gradually make the iron bar or plate thinner. They had to do this with tongs, catching the hot iron as it came out the rolling mill at speed.
So going into Hannah and John's side of the family, if we look at the 1881 census, the family were living at 5 Spring Street, which is still a street right near the entrance path to Middlesbrough College, near the railway over the border. Right, so this is the 1881 census for Spring Street, which is just behind you, Mikey.
Okay. Right. So, first up, we have John Rees.
Yeah.
He's the head, 48 years old, somewhere in Wales.
Yeah, Flintshire, is it?
And then we have Hannah Mary Rees, wife. Is that the same Hannah Mary?
That's her mother.
Right. She is married also.
Yeah.
43. And just a wife from Yorkshire, Whitby.
Yeah, so Hannah came from Whitby.
Then we have, is that Susan Rees?
Yeah.
The daughter. She's not married, obviously. She's 14 and she's a scholar from Yorkshire, Middlesbrough. Right, and then we have Annie.
Yeah.
Annie Dew Rees. Also daughter, not married because she's 12 and she is a scholar. Doris, is it Damien? Darren? David Rees, the son. And he's not married because he's only 9. We also have another Hannah. Oh, so this is before she moved over there?
Yeah.
Right. Not very far, is it?
I know, she was a baby here, and a 58-year-old woman who got pneumonia here. She didn't get very far in 50 years, did she?
Right. Daughter, she's 4. Is that Sarah?
Yeah.
Sarah Jane Rees, daughter, not married because she's 9 months old. 22nd of...
Is it 2nd?
22nd of September 1890.
So it's like about 9 years after the one you've just read.
Right.
24 Dock Street, which is near the college.
Ah.
He's down.
Is that where he died?
Yeah.
Right. I wonder how. So David Rees, male, he was 18 years old. Shit. For
a boat builder apprentice.
The boat builder apprentice. Oh, that makes sense. That's for... The fuck is all
It's
this?
that strange word again for TB, isn't it? Physicist for 2 years. So Hannah lost her brother when she was in her teens. Can you go back to Hannah's tree? Look, she's named her son George. It's David George.
Oh yeah.
So she named her son after the brother.
The middle name of the brother.
That she lost.
David George, but he didn't like to be called David George, so he took the name of George.
So he was 18. He was 56 when he died. She was 71 when she died. 18 obviously. She was
58, we know that
58. And Sarah J was 71. Hannah Mary, April 22nd, or not, October 22nd, 1837.
How long ago was that? Good at maths.
186 years ago. What did that say? Goal. Good.
Girl.
Oh, she was a girl. John
Stubbs.
Stubbs.
That's her dad.
Susanna.
Yeah. That's her name.
Formerly Beadnell.
The mark of Susanna Stubbs.
Oh, so that's an X from her.
So she couldn't
She couldn't write herself.
her name, yeah, she was illiterate.
Bloody hell.
And it says the address, if you can just see, after Stubbs it says the address.
Is it Baxter Gate?
Yes!
In Whitby!
Yes, and Baxter Gate is still there in Whitby. Right, 1851.
Right, so we have John Whitehouse, the head. He's married, male, 39. Susanna Whitehouse, the wife, she's married, female, obviously, 43 years old. Right, and then we have a William Whitehouse, the son, unmarried, male, 25. Next we have a Sarah Stubbs without the H. She was, the wife's daughter. So she's not his daughter, just her.
And the fact it says wife's daughter means that John Whitehouse wanted the person that was right in the census to be aware that they aren't mine.
Well, that could cause arguments, can't it? Her occupation was housework.
So cleaning
I'm
up.
going to get paid £1 for hoovering up.
From my stepdad.
Yeah, Mr. B. No daughter of mine, Mrs. B. Hannah M.
That's our Hannah.
She was the wife's daughter, unmarried, female, age of 14. William Thomas Stubbs, wife's son, unmarried, male, 9 years old.
By 1881, Susanna had moved from Dacre Street to 29 West Street. Yeah.
So that'll be their house.
Just her.
I'd say where the middle lamppost is.
Right, yeah. In between there, yeah, in the hedge, yeah.
Roughly, yeah.
And on the 21st of April 1887 at 31 West Street, so next door, Susanna died. She was 82 years old, and the cause of death is something to do with cataracts, which possibly means she also had some form of dementia. And Michael's ancestor, Hannah, her daughter, was present at her death. Susanna is buried in Eston Cemetery, but there's no headstone. So do you know anything of Sheila's side then?
I remember most of her sisters.
Right.
So Grandma was the youngest.
Right.
And Dorothy was Margaret, Frida, Olive, I think. So Grandma, Dorothy. I never met great grandma or great granddad.
It's faint, but Sheila's father is William Bosomworth Thompson, and he's a steel erector. Okay, right, so the 1939 register for number 75.
So in 1939, at number 75, we had William B. Thompson, born the 21st of May, 1889, sorry. And he was a steel... Oh, he was married, by the way. And he was a steel...
Erector.
I thought it was that. Hannah Thompson. She was born the 17th of December, 1892. Married, obviously, and she was an unpaid domestic duties.
Just a housewife.
So a housewife, yes.
Yeah.
So Dorothy, she was born the 8th of September, and she was a confection... And it says chocolate... something. Chocolate
Dipper.
dipper. Oh, Frida.
Yeah.
And she was also in the confectionery. Sugar confectionery.
Is that right?
Says in brackets. Sugar confectionery.
Yeah, sugar confectionery manufacturer.
Manufacturer. Next one is Olive.
Yeah.
On the 17th of May 1960, single, and she's a domestic servant.
Yeah. But we noticed she's crossed out.
Yeah, why?
I don't know. Hannah Thompson died in 1987, just before Michael was born, aged 94 years old.
So, my great-grandma, her surname was Coates, Coates.
So if we go into her side of the family, she was born on Carey Street. Now, Carey Street was just behind St Paul's Church off Newport Road.
Right, 23. We have an Alfred Court, the head of the house, male, aged 35, and he was an ironwork labourer.
Yeah.
Then we have, is that Bianca?
No.
It looks like Bianca.
Francis.
Francis Dew, the wife, she's married, 33, and she doesn't have a job.
So in total, Alfred Coates and Francis Dunn had Robert Harold, Ethel, Frederick, Mabel, Hilda, and Michael's Hannah.
Hello?
Hello, is that Kath?
Yes, it is.
So are you Hilda's granddaughter?
Yes.
Right. His great gran is Hannah.
Oh, is this?
So Hannah and Hilda were sisters.
Yeah, well, it's Hannah that I knew, Auntie Hannah.
All right, okay.
Hannah there, she was married to William Thompson.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my Auntie Hannah I knew well. She used to come to our house every week.
Right. What was she like?
Oh, she was lovely.
Yeah.
Absolutely lovely. On our birthday, she used to put a sixpence in a card, which was a lot of money then.
Yeah.
She was absolutely lovely. Now, I read somewhere, I got it out of a paper, that he climbed up a ladder and fell off it and died. William.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that Hannah's husband, William?
Yeah.
He died in 1970 is all I've got.
Yeah, he fell off a ladder, apparently. Yeah, Uncle Will, we used to call him, and Auntie Anna.
Right.
And I knew all her children, well, her family, Olive and all them. Now, was it Olive? I think Olive was gay, you know.
Really?
She never married. I think it was Olive.
So
But she was with her mother most of the time.
what, Olive and Hannah were all together?
Yeah.
And then we have a Robert H. Dew, the son. He's single, he's 15, and he is a solicitor's clerk. Ooh.
Yeah, so he had a fancy job, yeah.
Now, there's a Robert H. Coates, and my mum said that he used to send money every Christmas to Grandma Hilda, because they weren't so well off. But he was a solicitor.
Yeah.
And he was quite quite well off, lived in a huge house. I've actually found that online.
It's down south. He lives down south somewhere, doesn't he?
Yeah,
That's Sybil, surely.
Ethel.
Ethel. Do. She is a daughter. She's single and she's 13. The next one down is looks like a fucking head whacker. What the hell?
Head whacker.
Frederick.
Yes.
Frederick Do, the son. He's single. He's 10 and he's a scholar, so he's at school.
But Ethel isn't.
I know. What the hell?
Hilda Coates married Arthur Bradley in 1910 at the West End Methodist Church on Newport Road, where all the sisters seem to have got married. And then they moved to Tarrant Street in West Lane.
We have Arthur Bradley. He's the head. He's 32 years and 5 months. He's male, married, from York, Middlesbrough. He's a blast furnace labourer. Now we have Hilda Bradley, the wife, 30 years and 5 months, female, married, the do, Ethel. Ethel Wynne Bradley.
Yeah.
She's the daughter, she's 11, female.
Auntie Ethel died very young. I used to stay with Auntie Ethel a lot.
Right.
Down it, because she lived in Redcar and she had 2 sons, always wanted a daughter.
Right.
So all summer holidays I used to stay there.
Yeah.
Yeah, with her. So, but
And
she died of heart. Well, she died in surgery.
right.
Well, she was having surgery, yeah. So,
And then we have Frances Frieda Bradley. Frances Frieda Bradley. And she's 9.
I think my mum thought more of her dad than her mum. She said her mum was quite strict and that, you know.
And then we have, it looks like Mabel.
Yeah.
Mabel Lillian Bradley, another daughter. She is 8.
Auntie Mabel lived in Groveville and then she had to have a leg taken off and her husband had had a stroke. So my mum moved up there so she could take care of them.
So Mabel only had one leg.
Yeah, half of it was taken off, yeah.
Right. That's rare, isn't it? Why did they take it off?
I can't remember, but they only said she smoked a lot, whether it was blocked arteries or something like that, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Your mum seems to live the longest, isn't she, out of them?
Yeah, she lived to 82, I think it was.
Right, so by 1939, Hilda and Arthur had moved to 12 Eden Road. Behind you?
We have Arthur Bradley, male. He is a process chemical worker. Hilda Bradley, female, unpaid domestic duties.
As usual.
And then we have
It's a bloke.
it's a bloke, and I'm going through girl names.
Jeffrey.
He was born the 22nd of January 1925, yes?
Yeah.
Right. He's single and he is
A fruiter's warehouse assistant.
fruiter's warehouse assistant.
This is Jeffrey's birth certificate.
37, yeah? 37...
Yeah, Ask Road.
Ask Road, where's Ask Road? I know that.
It's just off Clifton Street.
Oh, yes. Jeffrey... Is that Roland?
Yeah. This is the name of the father. The father's missing, and the name of the mother.
Joy...
Ivy.
Ivy... Is that Hewitt?
Jewett.
Jewett. Ivy Jewett. Oh yeah, why is Joy down as his mum?
Ivy.
I mean... why is Ivy down as his mum then? Been adopted?
Do you think it could be? I think Arthur and Hilda, this is just a guess, but I think Arthur and Hilda adopted Jeffrey.
Is that what you think, yeah?
That was what I was thinking, because...
Well, my mum said she wouldn't. She said she's got a brother, like a stepbrother. Now, if they'd adopted her, then my mum would have met him. She'd never met him. She never knew where he was or who he was. We were trying to find him for her.
That's strange, isn't it? Because you'd think that because Hilda's living with Jeffrey before the war.
Yeah,
So maybe because all the girls have left home and got married,
that's right. Yeah.
they've adopted a boy and just not told them. It's strange, isn't it, that?
Yeah, I know. You know what? He passed away not far from where my sister lived, and he was there. I'd already got him in my family history, and he was still alive at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I seen him in the. Did you see him in the newspaper? Because
I did on a when they got married or something. I've got a photograph of the name.
So that's strange. Like, I wonder if he knew. Like, did he? It's so confusing. Did he count Hilda as his mum? I just find it strange that your mum didn't know, though.
No, she didn't know him. She used to say,
Yeah.
she's got a step brother somewhere. She said, we've got a brother, but she didn't know him.
Yeah, it's just
She
strange.
didn't want to talk about it much. It was like it was a secret, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, Jeffrey R. Bradley, 2017. So he kept Bradley even up to his death.
Marriage in Middlesbrough, January 1947.
Right, so I'll put it in after 47. I've got a Jeffrey born in 49 and a Kenneth born in 50.
Oh yeah, I think that is the name. Yeah.
They'd still be alive, wouldn't they? They'd still be,
Yeah.
touch wood, obviously.
Yeah, because when he died, I actually went into the obituary in Middlesbrough papers and I saw them there, you know.
If Jeffrey spoke about his upbringing, he's gonna. I reckon he'll. Well, I hope he would have been aware that he was, should we say, adopted by Hilda.
Yeah.
Because he's gonna know, because he's got Jewish in his name, so maybe he does know. I take it that he would have known.
Yeah, he must have, yeah.
Jeffrey's illegitimate, isn't he?
Yeah, well, yes, he is, because it's got a line through the father.
So I put my mindset of like, maybe her family have been like, you can't raise him by yourself, sort of thing, and then she's thought what's best is to give him up for adoption. An unofficial adoption, you know, back then it would have been just giving it to somebody who would take him in, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's good.
And maybe she knew Hilda.
Yes, yeah. Possibility, but we need to. I need to find their family. That's what we need to do.
I know, and I'm not even related to this, and I'm interested now. I found Jeffrey Jr. on Facebook, and he confirmed that he was related to Jeffrey Sr. He said that he never met or knew his paternal grandparents. Jeff said to him that he was adopted. He knew that Jeff had a sister, but he never met her either. He spoke very fondly of his grandmother, Hilda. He said they moved houses a lot when he was on leave from the army, as his mother moved from Middlesbrough to Redcar. He believes that Hilda died when Jeff was in the army and before Jeff got married, which ties in with everything we know about Hilda. So I've put Kath and Jeff Jr. in touch with each other. So it's a nice ending.